Welcome to Story Speculation for Batman v Superman. Now, I've already covered a little bit of this in the other two videos in this series, a little bit after the trailer reaction I did, and also a little bit in top 5 things that I think is really cool in the trailer. So let's expand on certain elements a little bit. Now, I gotta say, I did the same kind of analysis with the last trailer that came out, and I gotta say my ideas of speculation for what the story is have not changed since that. It's pretty much the same. My thinking was that Lex Luthor is manipulating Batman and Superman into fighting each other so that they'll be so wrapped up in going up against each other that they don't pay attention to what he's really doing, which is building Doomsday. And everything in this trailer just adds more fuel to that fire, and I believe, yes, that is going to be the overall plot. So let's instead focus on a different aspect in particular. In my Batman v Superman What It Should Be, which I think this movie is going to be better than my fanfiction thing that I made up, but in that I had Bizarro being the big sort of monster rather than Doomsday, and I had it that Lex managed to salvage an egg from the smashed scout ship, because you remember that had like the Genesis chamber and all the little eggs and everything, and we see that break and shatter apart when the ship crashed. So my thinking was that Lex found it and salvaged it and maybe got one egg and was able to sort of repair it enough that he could grow Bizarro in that. Well, take a look at this. This is what appears to be the birth of Doomsday, and it looks like Lex has repaired the Genesis chamber. The thing that's getting electrocuted looks like a mutated form of one of the eggs that we saw in Man of Steel, and it's even got those tentacle things dangling down that we saw floating in the Genesis chamber. I think that's what this is. He's done exactly that. He's gotten an egg from the Genesis chamber and he's injected it with Kryptonian DNA, Amazon DNA, and Atlantean DNA, and he's made this giant monstrosity. And come to think of it, if there is Atlantean DNA in Doomsday as well, maybe that could explain the rocky protrusions. It's kind of like coral growing on him, you know? I mean, I know he's supposed to be, it's an homage to Doomsday. He's not technically Doomsday because he's not a genetically engineered monster like super weapon that was built in outer space. He's obviously built here on Earth as like a Frankenstein's monster, but it's an homage to Doomsday. But even that storyline, yeah, Atlantean DNA is mixed in. Maybe that's why he has the rocky protrusions. You know, I mentioned in my trailer reaction, I would have liked it if he had longer and bigger and more prominent spikes like up on his shoulders. See, he's got one on his elbow, like that length, all over him. Because without that, he does look a lot like the cave troll in Lord of the Rings, or any number of other CG type creatures. And yeah, I really don't think the CGI looks very good for him. I mean, yeah, if you're going to do an homage to Doomsday, you should have made him exactly like in the comics, because there's nothing else really like that out there. But I guess they went for this more generic monster thing. I don't know, maybe they're trying to save money on the design, or I don't know, whatever. But moving on. The other thing I want to speculate about from this trailer is what appears to be Darkseid's parademons during the whole nightmare Mad Max Batman sort of sequence that we've seen previously in different trailers. Now, I said in the reaction video, I don't think this is going to actually be happening in the movie, because it'd be too much to have like a Darkseid invasion as well as Doomsday, as well as the Batman v Superman fight and all the rest of it. So I think it is like a dream sequence thing, maybe that Wonder Woman is giving a Batman where he's getting a vision of possible future. And I think it's just there to tease the Justice League villain, which is probably going to be Darkseid. By the way, I did a video about top 3 villains they could use other than Darkseid, because Darkseid, people are going to think that's a ripoff of Thanos, even though Darkseid existed first in the comics, but that's a whole other thing. But this mixed with the 50-second clip that we saw a day or two ago, if I had to guess, I'd say maybe this is a vision of the future where Darkseid has taken over the Earth and has used Superman as his champion to sort of run the Earth in his stead. I mean, that's got a premise in the comics and in the animated series. So that's possibly where they're going in future movies, like maybe Justice League Part 1 or 2 or what have you. I'd rather see like the White Martians or Brainiac, you know, something like that. So put your thoughts down below, guys. What do you think about, like specifically with this? What is going on with this? Do you think it's a vision of the future? Do you think it's, I don't know, robotic suits that people are, I don't know. What do you guys think this is? Put your thoughts below, and you can check out any of my previous videos in this series by clicking on them right here.